All right. Welcome everyone to another Sinister Halloween Con countdown, man. It is without question the best time of the year. I can remember for a minute, Charlie. We during COVID, we obviously didn't get any Sinister, and then for a while there, we were only doing the one Sinister in June,
Right.
and not October. And you always would say to me, it doesn't feel like Sinister because it's not Halloween time.
Yeah.
And when we started doing this, we came aboard when Sinister was only in October. So
That's
if you've
true.
been around, by the way, my name is Jimmy. I'm your panel director, co-host, co-moderator, Charlie next to me for another countdown video to Sinister Halloween Con. They've taken the handcuffs off of us, and they're allowing us to do more of this kind of stuff for you guys on the road to these conventions, which is the stuff we do love doing. If you look up the Horrific Network, we do try to go live and organize meetups and do a bunch of fun stuff, which the Sinister fans do show up to every once in a while when it's not Sinister June or October season. We love seeing you guys year round. We house all the panels from the past Sinister Creature Cons. So if you are wanting to feel, nostalgic, you can go back to the Horrific Network's YouTube channel from all the way to 2015 and watch the programs that we put together for Sinister back then. Panels.
One thing, Jim,
ahead,
I
Charlie.
want to mention is I do kind of miss those handcuffs.
Those what?
I do kind of miss those handcuffs.
Yeah.
But not for the reasons that you may think.
Okay. We'll make sure we clear that up when we get to Sacramento.
Sounds good.
But my point with all of that, man, is every once in a while you get to have repeat guests when you've been lucky enough to do it as much as we have. And there are panels on there that you always know the conversation is going to be meaningful. It is going to be deep. You're going to learn about the profession, and it's going to leave an impact on the people in the room. Every time I talk to Nathan Basil, I feel that way from Behind the Mask. But anytime that I have talked to anybody from this film that we're featuring right now, I have definitely felt that way. And the fact that we have all three of these are repeat guests who have been here to Sinister since I have been doing this job.
Yeah.
And all three of them have produced excellent panels on their own. So now for Sinister Halloween Con, we're bringing them all back to be here with you guys. And so by Ling, Rochelle Davis, and Lawrence Mason, all that you will recognize, of course, from the original Crow movie starring the late, great Brandon Lee. The Crow movie, man, I don't know if there's enough that can be said about this film and what it was to horror at the time and what it was looking at it now to, mid to indie horror filmmakers.
Yeah.
This movie was an absolute gem when realistically, like, the people who were believing in it the strongest were the people making it and in it. And the fact that it captivated the world because of why it did is not entirely fair to the movie. Because the movie, you take the tragedy out of the movie is still a really good movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And if you have no clue about what the original concept is it's Devil's Night, which is the night before Halloween, all hell breaking loose, no rules. And Eric Draven and his girlfriend are very much just trying to stay in their lane in a crime-torn city. And they end up having their apartment broken into. She is raped, assaulted. He is killed, made to watch, each other die. and the premise being that the crow will bring back your soul. When you've died so wrongfully that the crow is going to bring your soul back for vengeance. And Brendan Lee's look, if you are a wrestling fan like I am, completely 110% inspired. Back in the NWO days, Hulk Hogan becomes a bad guy. He's destroying this company. Who can be the angel of vengeance to save WCW from this tyrannical group? It's Sting, but it's not just Sting. It's Sting who's been wronged, so he's seeking vengeance. They didn't subtly do anything. They deliberately ripped off the Crow thing. I listened to a podcast with Eric Bischoff, who was like the president and CEO of WCW, and the guy who does that show with him, every time that this era is brought up, it was like, how did you not get like 1,000 cease and desist things? And he was like, late in the late 90s, that wasn't as rampant, especially on something with the production scale of what the Crow was.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine, now, without having like internet readily available, without having the connections, the networking that we do, getting to see movies like The Crow back then, you probably couldn't find it.
Yeah.
And then this movie just goes on the run that it goes on, huge success, so much so that they have tried too many times to rehash this franchise. And it seems like whatever happens, and this is where the whole, I think it was either Shudder or Netflix did a cult cursed films series.
Right.
The Crow was like one of the first ones, if it wasn't the first one, that they did, because this was, and it still is, one of those franchises that does feel cursed. Like, you're never going to have success with this. You're never going to, if you're lucky enough to finish it, it's never going to be successful. Why bother? Honestly. And that is a testament to, I think, Brandon Lee's name, which, I'm sure we will talk about this on the panel, but honestly, to sit here and, speculate or talk, all that's left to really say is that guy was a great actor.
Yeah.
Seems like he was a hell of a person, and it was a tragedy that took his life way too soon. And it's sadly something that we have seen repeated in film industry business.
And it kept us from seeing future performances, because obviously he was on the ascent. His star was on the rise, and he would have done great things. The Crow is one of those films where, and sometimes this happens, where reality or the truth, a true event, dovetails with the fictional story itself, and adds this kind of mystic quality to the movie. And I think it still has that. You can watch the movie, you can't forget about the things that happened during the making of the movie. But as you said before, this is a good movie. This is a good movie that delivers the goods in terms of atmosphere, horrific elements. You said it was based on Devil's Night. Well, Devil's Night has a history. If you look at the history of Devil's Night, there are actually some communities that have had to alter the way they did law enforcement and make special arrangements before Devil's Night, because it got too out of control. So that one element that people aren't aware of is very much based in historical fact. So.
Yeah, and the fact that this movie is packed with cool kills. He's got great one-liners in it. The classic, "Is that gasoline I smell?" Like, he's very much like an animated killer. I think if you've never seen the movie, or you never heard him speak, and you saw him in his costume, you almost would peg him for like the silent, not going to talk at all, killer, or whatever he may be. Which is funny, because that's exactly how, when Sting first showed up in his outfit, he was. Didn't talk, didn't say anything, very stoic, very stocky.
Yeah.
And Brendan Lee's Crow is not that. He's full of personality. And when he is getting his revenge, and he gets his revenge pretty substantially, he does. He has a lot of cool, like, Die Hard or Schwarzenegger, or insert your action hero here lines that he does drop in that movie, which is another layer of why it is so much fun to watch year round, if not this time of the year. It is a Halloween movie. People, I think, forget that The Crow is a Halloween movie, but it very much is.
Very much so.
All three of these actresses and actor, like I mentioned, have been to Sinister before. Bai is crazy, Lawrence is deep, and Rochelle is somewhere in between. So at least in my three, in the three times that I have interviewed the three of them, you can go down the line of extreme to toned back and more chill, and then willing to go either direction. As far as when I interviewed Rochelle, she was like very laid back when we were talking about Brandon, but when we were talking about the cool scenes, she was all fired up. So this panel is going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. I think that the crowd will be too. The Crow is one of those films that no matter if we're doing a live screening of it or a panel like this, it's always going to have a fandom attached to it. So I am very excited to be doing this one.
Yeah, I'm excited to see these three people together. And like you said, three distinct personalities. Mm-hmm. And it makes for a fun panel for sure.
Awesome. And the only way to see it is to come to Sinister Halloween Con this October 19th and 20th. Sinister Halloween Con. You can get your tickets now, sinistercreaturecon.com. We'll post that link in the show notes of the video. So it allows you guys, to be on the lookout for any last-second coupon discounts that we may be throwing out there at you guys. But it's crunch time, man. It's time to put on your best Eric Draven costume. It's time to get your crow on your shoulder. It's time to get your tickets in your hand, and it's time to come to the Scottish Rite Center in Sacramento, California, and see us all weekend in the panel room for Sinister Halloween Con. We will see you there. Stay spooky, everybody.